You know, I've been using Weber kettles for a long time, and there's always been this debate on whether or not you should deep clean your kettle. And what does deep clean even mean? To some folks, it means get it so clean you can sell it for a brand new one. They think it runs more efficiently and better that way. Some folks think it means just get the ashes out of there and you're good to go. Leave that char for more seasoning and a better seal. But really, it comes down to personal preference. So I'm going to clean mine for you today, show you step by step my process, share with you things I absolutely do, things I absolutely don't do. And the main point is just get you better informed so you can decide on how clean you want to get your own. Let's get started. All right, folks, let's first start with using the one-touch system to clean out as many ashes as we can. Now, I had already cleaned this out a little bit. Didn't realize I was going to do a video, so I already kind of wiped it out. But I'll try again and see if you can see the process. I'm getting some ashes out of there. I'll get the rest of those ashes during the cleaning process. And then, if you have a canister like this, the ash can, take your ash can and dump those ashes out. If you have an ash tray, do the same thing, get rid of the ashes. All right, so there it goes. It's empty now. It got some residue in there. I'll clean that out a little later on. So I'll put it off to the side. Now I've got this tool here. I'm gonna share this with you. I'll share the link for it. This is a great little tool, guys. I usually use this in between cleans, or in between cooks for a quick clean. That probably won't do really what I want it to do for a deep clean, but it gets the ashes out right here. This is what I want it to do. Now I could have put those into the can, of course, but I want you guys to see all the ashes that come out of here. They're like $5 at Lava Lock. So what's cool about it, it's got a hook right here. You could pick your grate up if you need to. It's got a hook here to hang on your kettle on the handle. But this hook right here is really great to be able to grab your grates and pick them up. But for now, I'll just go ahead and scrape it down and some of this down into here. Get rid of some of this loose ash here. All right, folks, here's my razor blade I'm going to use. And the point of this, guys, is to really get down and get the ashes that are stuck to it pretty hard and get them loose. Now, I don't want to scrape it so hard I scrape the enamel. I want to go with the edge of the enamel of how it flows and just scrape with the enamel, not dig into it, just scrape with it. So you'll see how, you can see how I do that. And I'll start at the top. You get where you can see a little easier. I'll start at the very top and I'll scrape down. And I'll do this all the way around the kettle, guys. I'll remove the paddles. Scrape them clean as well. But I'll do all the way around here, and when I get done, I'll bring you back. All right, guys, a couple things. One, I was a dummy. I did put my ash pan back on. I was thinking more so when I wash it out. There was more in there that, of course, than I should have been using with no pan. So I put my ash pan back on so I can catch all these ashes that I loosened up. And then also, I've switched sides on you. I've put gloves on too. On this side over here is usually where I put one of my smoking devices, whether it be the smoke and sizzle or the slow and sear. And the reason why that's important is because what happens, guys, I put that device over here and I put the vent on this side of the dome lid. I put the vent on this side. So it pulls that heat and that smoke across the kettle into that meat. But also it causes more char on this side because all that smoke's going over here. So you got carbon over here from that smoke. Now, here's what I like to do for mine. I like to take the scraper blade, razor or scraper blade, especially when I'm doing a bigger clean than between cooks clean. And I don't really go to the very top. I like to keep this char on the very edge a little bit because I think it does create a better seal for you. You don't have to remove all that. And plus, I use a gasket, so I have a gasket on my lid. But I do like to keep that char for about an inch and a half down. So I'll scrape from right here and get all this. You see how much blacker this is over here. A lot more char over here than there was on the other side. But I'll scrape a lot of that loose, but I'll leave this up here. Plus, it's very hard to get off, so I don't want to try that. I'm not gonna break a sweat today. Come on. But I will clean it about an inch down, maybe 2 inches. I'll leave of residue up there for a better seal. But I'll clean the rest of it out. Now, what I'll do is I'll get the rest of these ashes out of here, and then I'll take my hose to it. I'll clean it out, wash it out with my hose, or probably use a little bit of pressure with my hose. I won't use a pressure washer, but I'll use a little bit of pressure on my hose. I'm trying to avoid getting much water on this spout because that's where I get my gas assist light from. So I don't really want to get water up in there. And after I finish cleaning it completely, I'll probably fire it up just to make sure it runs and dry it out a little bit if there's any water up in there. But for now, let's rinse out the pan. All right, next, guys, I want to use the SOS pads very gently. They've got soap already built into them. I'll run some soap around with this SOS pad, just clean it out a little bit throughout the whole kettle. Rinse that, and I might use steel wool behind that. Probably not. I'm probably just going to use this, and I'll probably use some Zep. You may be familiar with Zep. I'll show you that when I go to do that, but I'll look at it and see how it's looking and may use Zep then. Because I feel residue down in here. No doubt I feel some residue underneath this pad. I'm not worried about getting every single drop of that out of here. This is none of my concern with, because I just want to get the majority of anything that may cause buildup and corrosion over time. I don't want to have that. There's some really good residue right there, so I want to take this razor blade. I just missed that earlier completely. Get a new SOS pad here. There. So here's our ZEP, guys. It actually says it's for, greases, grills, and it's food safe, that kind of thing, so kitchen safe. So you just spray it on. I'm trying to avoid the top edge, like I said, so I don't want to get too much on there, I don't want to erode that too much. Okay, guys, it's been about 3 to 4 minutes. It says wait a minute, but I wait a little longer because I really want it to work as best it can. So now I'm just going to take a dry rag and wipe that out and see how that does with a dry rag. Actually, feels like it did a really good job. Working really, really well. Again, I'm not one of the guys that feels like I get it so freaking clean that it's got to be spotless and you can take it and sell it for a new one. I'm not that way at all. I like to just get off the extra buildup off of it. I think it runs more efficiently and also preserves it longer, so you don't have to worry about corrosion and rust, etc. That's my big concern for me. We got that. Now we're going to throw some hose to it and see how that does. Well, guys, I think I'm content with that. Again, I didn't want to get it spotless. I thought just getting a good scrub off of the main ashes off there that I don't scrub every time I use. I just get the top ashes kind of when I use it on a regular basis. But this got us a good clean as far as getting the hardcore top level hard ash, crust, crud, whatever you want to call it. And we got that off. So now we'll go ahead and work on our lid. So let me get it up here and show you the lid. And the main thing I want to show you is how it's peeling here. There's a lot of peeling going on, and that is just carbon from smoke. That's really what that's just a buildup of carbon that I do not like on my lid. And the reason why is because when you smoke with it or cook with it and you get high heat up into the dome, you will then get some drippage down onto your meat. And a little bit probably doesn't really matter, but I don't want to feed people that. I don't want to feed people the residue of this carbon that turns to liquefies and drips down onto your meat. Those little black specks that you see. I want rid of this so I can get rid of that. I don't have to worry about it. So I will scrape this whole thing clean again with a razor blade first. I'll spray it with ZEP and do the whole process again. So we'll watch some of that here. Again, I did not do the very edge. I got a gasket on here. I don't want to risk hitting that gasket. So one thing some people do that I absolutely don't do is they take their handle off, take the thermometer out, and clean all that. I don't worry about that. I leave that thermometer in. It doesn't really matter to me. I do try to get really well around the vent holes because there seems to be a pretty good buildup there because obviously the smoke and stuff is going out that vents. But because I don't take those out, I hit my thumb on them and I swallow. So it looks much better, guys. Now we'll take our ZEP. We're going to spray it one more time. All right, guys, here's the Weber exterior grill cleaner. Put it on and wipe it off. Full disclosure, guys, while I'm doing this, I'll tell you, if I did go ahead and clean off the charcoal grate a little bit, I didn't plan to do that. When I went to put it back in here, I thought, well, you know what, I don't clean it very often, so I just put a little SOS pad to it and wipe it off a little bit, spray it off. It's a little damp, but I think most of it's dry. So you can see I did not get every bit of the char out there. Of course I didn't. I didn't want to. Like I said, I wanted to get a good chunk of it, the majority of it. I did get out, but not all of it, and I'm happy with that. I did leave the edge. Of course, like I said, I was going to the edge. Didn't scrape there at all. Let me show you the lid as well. And there's the inside of the lid. It's got some residue in here still, but that's very, very, very baked on, if you will. And so I'm not really worried about that. All right, folks, there you have it. I fall somewhere in between the guy who wants to get it super duper clean and the guy who says, you know what, never gonna clean it at all. I fall somewhere in the middle there. And my big concern, guys, when I clean my kettles, is I want to prevent rust and corrosion so I can prolong the life of my kettle. And I feel like I do just that with the way I clean them. Very happy with the way I do it. So, guys, I hope you got some value out of the video today. I hope you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, guys, I'll meet you at the smoke.